Now, from the Pope John Paul II Cultural Center in Washington, D.C., Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome to The World Over Live. We are still on the book tour, I'm happy to say, telling people about the prayers and personal devotions of Mother Angelica. It was so great seeing so many of you during the first swing of the tour. It's not over yet. Later in the show, we'll remind you about our special offer. If you get the book between now and March 20th, it's available from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Borders, EWTN Religious Catalog, wherever books are sold, and it makes a fantastic Easter gift. If you have a question or comment, call us 1-800-221-9460 in the U.S. and internationally, 205-271-2980, or drop us an email at worldover@ewtn.com. Here's the brief. After more than a year, is the health care legislation drama finally coming to an end? Maybe. President Obama's push for a quick vote is far from assured. As it stands, both chambers appear to lack the votes to pass the Democratic health plan, but appearances can be deceiving. The Associated Press is reporting that Speaker Nancy Pelosi has stopped negotiating with Congressman Bart Stupak and approximately a dozen pro-life Democrats, including the Catholic Bishops' Conference. They had been trying to find agreement on language that would restrict federal funding of abortion in the bill. With or without the pro-life Democrats, the leadership is moving forward with a full House vote on the health care bill within 10 days. It will attach to another piece of legislation giving the government more control over student loans. Stay tuned. And with the resolution of the health care reform legislation in sight, what is next for the president? Immigration reform. On Thursday, President Obama met with immigration reform advocates at the White House. Details were not offered. However, ideas on the table include increased border security, a biometrically linked Social Security card to ensure businesses do not hire illegal immigrants, and some sort of temporary workers program to deal with the estimated 12 to 20 million illegal aliens already in the U.S. In a separate meeting, the president told pro-immigrant activists that he remained committed to reform, despite the lack of action thus far. Salt Lake City's Bishop John Wester attended the meeting on behalf of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. The Bishops' Conference already has a nationwide advocacy program in place, ready to push through the legislation. We'll keep you posted. And a delegation for the U.S. Bishops' Conference toured Port-au-Prince this past week as part of their efforts to assess the long-term needs of the church in the earthquake-ravaged nation. The delegation was led by Cardinal Sean O'Malley of Boston, Archbishop Jose Gomez of San Antonio, and Brooklyn Auxiliary Bishop Guy Sansaric, the only Haitian-American bishop in the U.S. Church hospitals, schools, seminaries, dozens of churches have been destroyed or devastated by the earthquake, and religious and priests were among the dead. Catholic Relief Services will distribute more than $90 million collected through U.S. dioceses and elsewhere. If you'd like to contribute and help, simply go to crs.org. And Spain's new abortion law was met with massive protests throughout the predominantly Catholic nation. In Madrid alone, Catholic news agency reports that 500,000 demonstrators turned out on Sunday. The new bill, set to go into effect in July, legalizes abortion on demand up to 14 weeks, and it extends that right to girls as young as 16 without parental consent. It is the latest in a series of social reforms undertaken by Spain's socialist government and Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero. Since coming to power in 2004, Zapatero's social reforms have included the liberalization of divorce and the legalization of same-sex marriage. In a related note, same-sex marriages took place for the first time in 2 capital cities in the U.S. Washington, D.C. issued a marriage license to its first same-sex couple on Tuesday. And on Thursday, Mexico City approved their first same-sex marriage, a first for Latin America. The Mexican federal government has filed suit. And in Colorado, Archbishop Charles Chaput is defending the decision of one of his schools which refused to enroll the children of an openly lesbian couple. The Archbishop and the school have come under fire by local media and gay rights activists over the decision. In a column published Wednesday, the Archbishop wrote, "Our policies, quote, exist to protect all parties involved, including the children of homosexual couples and the couples themselves. Our schools are meant to be partners in faith with parents. If parents don't respect the beliefs of the church or live in a manner that openly rejects those beliefs, then partnering with those parents becomes very difficult, if not impossible. It places unfair stress on the children who find themselves caught in the middle," end quote. And in Nigeria, deadly sectarian violence erupted once again this past Sunday. As many as 500 Christians were slaughtered by machete-wielding Muslim gangs in a pre-dawn attack. A 4-day-old baby is among the murdered. The massacre was the latest reprisal of violence in and around the ethnically divided city of Jos. January clashes between the groups claimed more than 300 lives. Despite the religious divide, the local bishop insists that the violence is not religiously motivated. Authorities have made arrests. 49 have been charged with murder. And Pope Benedict met with the head of Germany's bishops' conference at the Vatican on Friday amid the escalating sex abuse scandal affecting the church there. Following the meeting, Archbishop Robert Zolich said the Holy Father was greatly dismayed and deeply moved as he was being briefed on the scandal in Pope Benedict's homeland. Pope Benedict further encouraged the Archbishop to pursue the truth and assist the victims. Archbishop Zolich has already apologized to German victims and promised to cooperate with prosecutors. Dating back some 50 years, at least 170 former students from Catholic schools in Germany have come forward recently with claims of physical and sexual abuse. And Italian media are reporting that Pope Benedict XVI has set up a special commission to weigh the authenticity of reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary at Medjugorje. Despite its popularity among Catholic pilgrims, the authenticity of the apparitions in Bosnia-Herzegovina, in the countryside town, have been a matter of controversy and suspicion since first being reported in 1984. The commission will reportedly be headed by Cardinal Camillo Ruini, a trusted ally of the Pope, and carried out under the auspices of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. No official announcement has been made by the Vatican. And since it's Lent, it's customary for Catholics to reflect on the Stations of the Cross. PewSitter.com is reporting that the U.S. Bishops' Conference's Catholic Campaign for Human Development has released their own novel Stations of the Cross. Each of the meditations come complete with a description and a prayer for a specific community activist group funded by the CCHD. For example, when Jesus takes up the cross in the second station, there's a brief advertisement for something called the Ohio Valley Environmental Coalition. The accompanying prayer reads, "Jesus, may the work of OVEC inspire us to support the efforts of all those whose crosses become heavy due to environmental threats that affect their health and well-being." PewSitter.com contends that 5 of the groups profiled in the Campaign for Human Development stations have been involved in promoting abortion and/or gay rights. When we checked before the broadcast, the Catholic Campaign for Human Development had taken their stations off the website. Up next, healthcare reform could soon come to a vote. Will it pass, and does it fund abortion? Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of the Susan B. Anthony List, joins us when The World Over Live continues. Stay right there.